All right, here with Ronnie Olson, Shady Spring Tigers head basketball coach, and will be this week in the North-South, the South Cardinals coach from the North-South game in South Charleston. First of all, Ronnie, just talk about, you told me you were invited to this game to coach 4 years ago,
Yeah.
but COVID shut it down. So 4 years later, here we are again.
It's always an honor to coach something like that because I was really looking forward to it. Especially earlier in your coaching career, you get asked to coach in the Scott Brown and the North-South game. I've always said this. It's an honor. And when they called me and asked me, I said absolutely. Coach from Charleston Catholic and I will be coaching, Coach Moles. It's an honor, and I'm excited. Like I said, COVID shut it down. I was going to have to get to coach Tommy and Luke and those guys down there, so I didn't get to. But we'll get another chance to coach them more, and Gavin, I'm excited.
Well, since then, you've won a couple state championships,
Yeah,
and
lots
Amar
changed.
Maxwell was a big part of both of those, and Gavin Davis was a big part of it this year. And you're getting to coach those two guys. What's that mean to you? One more go around. I guess you weren't sure at the time that the Scott Brown game was going to be the last time you got him, but you're going to get one more shot.
Yeah, I told him in there, last time together, but I called him up and said, guys, we're going to play in this, coaching the Scott Brown game together. Let's do it together. I wasn't going to do it unless they came with me, and so we are all agreed to coach and play one more time together and enjoy the day. And we're going to go down Friday, and it's nice, you have a little practice in the morning or whatever, and then you get to play in the evening, and so take the family up there and make a day of it.
You coached in several Scott Brown games over the years. How does doing that, and that's kind of on the statewide level too, how does that help you in a situation like this where it's kind of the statewide stage again?
I feel like you know what to do. You're kind of there you're more of a a orchestrator because you just sub in, sub out. It's not much to prepare for. Like I said, it's more of an honor than anything. It's their guys. It's their game, not mine. I'm just a figurehead to be there and kind of sub in and out, make sure everybody has equal playing time until the end when we want to win. I love the roster's pretty stacked. I'm excited about it. Maybe we can do 5 in, 5 out and just roll.
Now, first of all, let's go over your guys. What Amar's meant to this program for you. Like I said, he was a big part of 2 state champions,
Yeah.
and I probably no one thought this year would be the year you would win it. And after the kind of teams that you've had in here, but he's a guy that kind of deserves this last honor in high school.
I've said it from day one. Amar deserves everything that he gets, and he's been so dedicated to our program. And I texted him this weekend. We were at WVU, and I said, I miss you. I love you. It's weird without you because it's been so long with him, And he texted me back. We talked. He said, "Love you too, Coach, and miss you." And he's the same thing as our guys always leave: keep rolling and keep doing what you're doing. But I'm happy for him that he's put so much time in, and these are just accolades and rewards that you get for putting in hard work, and to play in these games, it's an honor, just like I said, and those guys feel the same way. So to get invited for something like that and get to see Amar finish his career like that, finally finish his career. I said in the Scott Brown game, but this is finally finishing his high school career before he starts his collegiate career.
What about a guy like Gavin Davis? He's a guy, he's kind of old school. He waited his turn. He played some minutes for you over the last couple of years. But he's obviously a starter this year. He's a guy that kind of earned his stripes.
That's my guy right there. Gavin is, he's just a guy that has been one of those guys that every coach in this whole building would want to have on their program.
Yeah, and then you look at him, maybe you do think, no, this guy's not going to be. But he was.
I knew he would eventually. He just got into a gap where there was a bunch of guys that were, really, really good, and he had to wait his time longer than he normally would. But I'll tell you what, he sure in the hell took advantage of it. His senior year, second team All-State captain to win a state championship and take a game-winning charge and do all the things he's done. And then to cap it, Scott Brown coached with me, and then Scott Brown North-South, he got invited to the football game as well. But, he had a lot going on. But to get to play with me one more time, same thing I told him. He said, "Coach, let's do it together." And so I said, let's go out with my guys.
You get a chance to see, and maybe, I know they played travel ball together, but Redfern and Maxwell, which will likely be kind of a combo at Glenville at some point in their careers too. Are you excited to see them together instead of going head to head like they have?
Yeah, because we, like I said, with that Scott Brown game, we got to
Yeah,
go.
go
I was
ahead,
looking
yeah.
at that roster. I was already thinking about a couple things, what we're going to do. But that's going to be a nasty backcourt for Glenville. You know, Coach Boland's got a good setup right there with those two guards. I don't care what upperclassmen or transfers they got coming in; those two are going to give them a run for their money for sure, because those two can play. So I'm just excited to let them just get out there and get after it and run after it, and to guard those guys on the same floor is going to be tough.
Any guys you're looking forward to seeing actually have them on your bench, guys maybe that you didn't see in the regular season? I don't think you played Catholic, so
Yeah, I mean,
Hunter Mo's kid will be one. Turner is Jay Allen
Turner
very good
and the
player.
kid from Chapmanville. Those guys are, good players. I mean, I've watched them play on. I love to watch high school basketball, so I always watch video productions or wherever it's streaming at NFHS or. I don't know. I've looked at the roster, but I've also been on vacation a little bit, so I'm trying to come back and get in. We got our shootout now, so getting back to the grand scheme of things, and I was focused on this team now, but here we go back to work on the north-south with my guys.
Guy like Cole Lambert, what can he do for you? I mean,
I
he's a heck
forgot
of a
Cole.
player
That's
too.
a guy you bring up that I should have brought up. I've always been a big Cole Lambert fan. I mean, heck, even my guys, we played him in tons of stuff, and he's a one-man wrecking crew. He can completely destroy your defense, whether you trap him, whether you face guard him, whatever you're doing. He's just a tough kid, and I'm excited to have him. I would love to have him as a point guard in high school, but he's so heady, and I think he's a very underrated player.
Another kid that's playing in the football game as well, Brandon Isaac, who I think told me today when I was at Institute that he will be basically doing the basketball all day Friday.
Yeah.
And he's going to come back and play in the football game. What about a kid like that can do both?
I mean, he's just an awesome kid. Like I said, my son and him played together and travel ball when they were little, and it's kind of cool to, get to coach him. And I got to coach him in Scott Brown. He's super athletic. He's long, and I think he's just kind of scratching the potential of what he can do.
Yeah, once he got his footing in that Scott Brown game, I think he had like 9 or 11 points on a run in the second half.
Once he, if he fully dedicated, he plays a lot of sports, but if he fully dedicated himself, I think he could, he can be a really good player. Like I said, I still think
He's
he's
going to
kind of
Concord,
scratching.
so he's going to get that chance to play basketball.
I think he's going to scratch the surface, and I think he's going to be a really good player. So, and he's a great kid. Great young man, excuse me.
I always ask the coaches in football this, and you guys as well. I've probably asked you this 100 times when you were coaching the Scott Brown game. How much you want to win this thing? Now it's kind of it's not just even an area thing now, which the Scott Brown is kind of statewide.
I mean, you want to win for the South. I mean, it's kind of like I say that sitting here now that I'm not too concerned, just because I got out of a game with my guys that are getting ready to come this year coming up, and my adrenaline's pumping from just coaching a couple games over here. But when I get into the thick of it on Friday, I know I'm going to want to win. That's just part of human nature, and we're going to want to win, and I want to represent the South basketball, because I feel like South basketball is better than North basketball. Just just not even just the players. I just think the tradition of Southern basketball. I just think the history, it's rich. You're talking about all the way from Norfolk to McDowell to Wyoming County to Beckley. I mean, Raleigh County, now Shady. I just think it's a rich tradition place and a small town. I'm not saying northern population is a little higher than us, and I just think we got a lot of southern hometown grown values in South, and I think I take pride in that. Just like I do Shady, but I think the South is where it's at for basketball.
It's an all-star game. You can't put too much in one morning practice, or maybe you can. How much will defense? Because I know that's your calling card, but it is an all-star game. These games generally run into 110 to 102 scores.
You saw the one over here, Scott Brown, and it was too high scoring for me.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. How does that treat your gut after you?
Well, a lot of guys don't know what we do, defensively. It's very hard to get, but as long as
you can't put it in one.
No, as long as you're giving max effort, I just feel like anybody at that point in their career that makes a game like that is putting max effort in anyway. So I don't have to worry about coaching effort, because.
But how did the guy who has told me in 2016 when he took over that he'd win a state championship and defense was going to be what would propel that to happen? How do you rectify giving up 100 plays? I mean, at some point, You talked about adrenaline pumping
You
in.
get these hands, you sit on them because that's about all you can do. You know, you just remember that it's for them. It's not about me.
Right.
It's not about Shady. It's not about winning state titles. It's about them getting, maybe a college coach is there to watch one of them and they're getting an opportunity. So, you know, I'm going to preach defense in practice, obviously, because that's what I think wins basketball, right? Basketball game. So it's about them. It's not about me. So they're gonna get to
12
play.
guys, will you guys come up with a comparable pattern?
Yeah,
to get
maybe.
everybody
Yeah,
to,
yeah, and hopefully Coach Moles and I can work on some type of subs. I did it here, try to keep track of everybody's minutes, and like I said, maybe we can do 5 in, 5 out, and 2 in, 3 in. So he's a smart one, so maybe he can come up with the substitution pattern.
Well, I think you both have state championships,
Yeah,
then, right? So,
he does.
I mean,
yeah.
okay.
Young, got him one young.
Ronnie, I appreciate it. It won't be long till we're talking in the regular season
I
again.
can't wait. We're excited.
Right. Thank you, man.
Yep.